Welcome to the Rise Up For You podcast, where thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and executives from around the world share their practical tips, strategies, and stories to help you unleash your potential and achieve your goals. Your journey of growth to become your best starts now.
Hey everyone, welcome to today's podcast episode. Before we jump in, Nedalina Nasruddin here. I wanted to let you know that, hey, when you're not listening to the podcast, when you're not watching the YouTube video, check us out on LinkedIn. We are constantly posting, adding value on LinkedIn, my team and I. We have a Rise Up For You page and has videos, articles, content. It's actually our favorite platform. So if you want to connect with us on a day-to-day basis and you want to get additional content and resources, head over to LinkedIn, follow me, connect with our team, connect with Rise Up For You, and we're happy to share any content, and even send us a message because we'll reply. We're not a bunch of bots. So I'll see you there. And for now, let's jump into today's episode. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Rise Up For You podcast. This is your host, Nedalina Nasruddin, also the CEO and founder of Rise Up For You. We are bringing another amazing guest to you this week. We're all about providing as much content so that we can push your potential and really help you elevate. And we have another awesome guest from Canada. Again, we've had a stream of Canadians on our show.
Hey, awesome.
Yeah, so very, very excited to bring Fong on the show today, and Fong Chua, right? Did I say that right?
It's Chua. It's all good.
Chua. I said Shui, I said Cha, I said all kinds of things. But I apologize for saying your name wrong. I know how important it is, but I really appreciate you on the show today. Tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are. We always like to start off by letting the audience just brag a little bit.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for having me. Always excited to speak with your audience. I love adding as much value and impacting as many people as I can. Very quick summary of who I am, what I do. I help my clients expand their potential to also expand their impact by increasing their credibility. I come from, I was born and raised in Edmonton, Alberta, taught to work hard and stay in a job for the rest of my life kind of thing. And I'm not sure how much you know about Alberta.
I know a lot.
It's really governed by oil and gas.
Yeah.
So when I became a structural engineer, I thought that was what I was going to do for basically 40 years of my life. But then once the 2007, 2008 came around, oil went down, everything went down. And that's when we realized, maybe we should do something else. And that's when I picked up my very first Rich Dad Poor Dad book. And wow, completely changed my life. Realized that, wow, there's a whole real estate world out there. There's this business world out there. Yeah. So from there, started building my real estate empire from 0 properties to about 23, 24 properties within 2-3 years. From there, my coach then says, hey, why don't you start coaching people in real estate? And I go, okay, no problem. Let's start doing that. Had a few clients under my belt, and he goes, hey, why don't you start speaking? I'm like, okay, let's start speaking. So been to speaking at different events, different conferences and whatnot. Then started to doing a bunch virtually. Then my coach goes, why don't you start writing books? I'm like, okay, let's start writing a few books. So then within a few years, I've had, I think, 2 or 3 books in the first year that I started writing. And then to date, I have 7 books and 1 book, which is kind of dedicated to my daughter. And then I've been helping a lot of my clients get their books out there, self-publishing and whatnot. And then during the COVID downturn, my coach goes, why don't you start doing a podcast? I'm like, okay, let's start doing podcasts. So I've been able to interview some pretty amazing people from all over the world, from celebrities to athletes to people in Indonesia to Australia, whatever. And got to speak with lots of great people. And now I met you. So that's where I'm at.
I love that. Thank you for sharing all of that. That's fantastic. I happen to be very familiar with Alberta. My sister-in-law is actually an Edmontonian, and I have cousins and all kinds of family up there. So I get it. I try to stay away in December and January because it's quite frigid up there from a gal that's from California.
Yeah, no, I get that. I feel that pain.
Yes, but I absolutely love it. So, what I hear you saying, which is really important, which is what we talk about here at Rise Up For You, is all the human skills, right? It's the soft skills, it's emotional intelligence, confidence, leadership, communication, all the things that we're never really taught. But what I hear you saying specifically, Fong, is the power of just doing. And I will tell you that, we work with companies and clients all over the world. And one of the biggest challenges that we see is people just doing, just like taking action and not letting their mind get in the way of the behavior that can serve them.
Mhm.
That often the mind gets in the way and it sabotages them before they can even explore their own potential,
Exactly.
right? And we see this all the time. And when you were doing your introduction, what I thought was amazing that I kept hearing is my coach said, do this. And I said, okay, cool. Boom, let's do it. My coach said, do this. I'm like, awesome. Boom, let's do it. And you just took action. You didn't know if it was going to work. You didn't know if it was going to be successful. You just said, let's just do it and let's see what happens. How do you teach your clients, your kids, whoever it is, to cultivate a mindset of do first, right? Do first and figure out later, right? Or just do first and take the action and then like learn along the way kind of mentality.
Well, the thing is, if you don't do anything, you're stuck with whatever you have right now, which is where you're at. And if
Yeah.
you're not happy with where you're at, you have to do something to change it. So are you comfortable with where you're at and you're not complaining, you're completely happy with it? If you are, then great. All
Yeah.
power to you. But if
Yeah.
you're not, then you have to make a change. So
Yeah.
what pain is higher? The pain of not changing or the pain of remaining the same? So I usually work with my clients to go, hey, look at the two scenarios. What sounds better? And then you can kind of go through a risk assessment. What's the best case, worst case, most likely case of taking that action? Most likely than not, even the worst case is going to get you further along than when you were already at.
Yeah.
Whether you're going to learn something or you grow somewhere or whatever it is, you gain more than not doing anything at all. I have one of my close cousins. I remember her coming up to me and goes, "Wow, you and your wife does marathons and do half marathons. I wish I could do that." I'm like, "You can. Why not?" She goes, "Well, I'm old. I'm not in shape. I got people telling me I can't do it." I'm like, "Well, stop listening to all of them. Why don't you come with me and we'll do a marathon together and you tell me how you feel." Well,
Yeah.
she's doing half marathons every year now, ever since. And
Yeah.
it's just that going out there doing it and realizing, hey, I didn't die,
Yeah.
and I got a great experience. Why not do more?
Yeah.
Same thing with doing videos online. Lots of my clients are like, "Hey, I'm scared of doing videos online," and I go, "Just do one. I don't care how long it is. I don't care how often you do it. Just do one and see how that goes."
Yeah.
Right? Be
Yeah.
consistent as much as you can. Promise something. Remember for myself, like a lot of the things is that procrastination, and you're trying to limit that time of you deciding it and actually taking the action of doing it. So
Yeah.
how to reduce that time? Well, for me, committing to something. So when I said, hey, I wanted to wake up early and I wanted to go for a run every single day, well, the first time I did that, I posted on social media day one. Now, I don't want to look like a failure and not post day two. So I posted day two. Then I posted 3, 4, 5. And after a while, I realized, well, I'm already at 327. I don't want to miss out on 365. Well,
Yeah.
once you hit 365, you're like, I could probably keep going. So it's
Yeah.
one of those things where you kind of do mind tricks to yourself to be consistent and also progress as you go.
Yeah, I 100% agree with what you said. It's interesting because what I hear you say is a tactic that I use when I first started the business, Rise Up For You, is I use social media as an accountability tool. So before I even built this podcast, I didn't have anything. I just put on social media. October 5th, in 1 month, this podcast is releasing. Didn't have a podcast name, didn't have guests, nothing. But I was like, well, it's out there now. And, people comment. They're like, oh, I can't wait to listen. And I'm like, well, I got 4 weeks to make it happen, right? I did the same thing when it came to TED Talks, when it came to writing the book, is, hey, the book is going to launch on August, 2 years prior. And I'm like, you got 2 years to figure it out and make it happen, right? And stay accountable to it. My question for you, and this is something that I often, that I'm constantly trying to work through with our clients, and just when it comes to pushing potential. It's very, I would say, I don't want to say easy, but it's easier when an individual has had a complete breaking, when they're at the bottom. It's like, I got nothing to lose, right? Nowhere to go except up from here. So I'm going to take risk. I'm going to push my potential in a way that maybe I knew didn't even exist, because there's really no fear left, because I'm at the bottom, right? Anything that I could fear, whether it's divorce, losing family members, loss, death, money, whatever, I'm at the bottom. I got to start over, nothing to lose. Let's take action, right? And typically, not everybody, but there's a lot of individuals that build amazing success because of that.
Yep.
But what do you do with that individual that says, things are good? Like I'm making a great paycheck. I have an awesome family. I'm happy. I'm not satisfied. I don't feel like my potential is being pushed. I know there's a burning desire in me that I can do more, but I'm good. Right? How do we take that person, which is many individuals, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But it's cracking that algorithm of the people that do come to us, and I'm sure come to you and say, like, everything's good. I just want more. But do they have the fire to push themselves to more? Because when you push yourself, that typically means discomfort. That typically means I'm going to rock the boat and disrupt something that's working already. It's already working, but I just want to optimize it. I want to make it more intelligent. I want to go further, faster. What do you do with individuals like that come to you that say, like, maybe the drive's not as tough as like somebody that's at the bottom?
First of all, when you were saying that, I'm like, that sounds exactly what I was thinking about, because there was a period of time during that growing process where I turned to my wife and goes, have you noticed something interesting about all these case studies and these stories? They all hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to hit rock bottom before I make a change. So how do we get over that hump? And it's really having that, like, the biggest difference for us was having that coach around us. When we're completely comfortable, there's nobody challenging us, nobody pushing us to do more. And if you truly felt that you have something else to give, like, yes, you're comfortable, but you go, wait a minute, I could do more. I could help other people get over their hump or help other people grow more and whatnot. Then all of a sudden you have this little spark in you and go, okay, I want to do more, but you're still comfortable. So the thing is, we hired a coach. We had a coach helping us with real estate. We have a coach working with us on the business side of things, and they challenged us. Basically, every 2 weeks we'll have a call, and they'll go, well, did you do this? Well, not really. Well, why haven't you? After 2 or 3 calls where you go, not really, you start feeling, okay, maybe I want to be more prepared for that call. Yeah. Or maybe you start feeling, you know what, I paid for this, so I better make use of the money that I spent on this, that I invested in myself. So why not actually take the stuff that my coach is challenging me with and put into action? Yeah. Then after that, I started putting myself into mastermind classes and other more conferences and whatnot. And by putting yourself into environments like that, all of a sudden you're surrounded with a whole bunch of other people who are all like ready to go, and they're driven, they're ready to help other people. And you go, I want to do that too. And it just gets more contagious. Yeah. So that first thing is, putting yourself into those situations where you can't say no.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely. So, Fong, I know you do a lot of work around like mindset and retention. And I know as a business owner, even just as a professional, there's so much information out there and it's constantly changing. Industries are constantly changing. The coaching, training, artificial intelligence, it doesn't matter what world you're in. There's a lot of information that's being thrown at us. We live in a 3-second scroll, right, world now with social media. And I know you do a lot of work with high performers just to retain a little bit more so that you can get that information and still execute at a high performing level, right? Versus becoming fuzzy. Because I always say that, like, if you take in too much content and not in the right way, you become fuzzy, right? And then you get decision fatigue and you're not able to move forward. What are some strategies or things that you do to help people like really build, I would say, mental resilience around like bringing in more content and yet still producing as a high performer?
Right. Yeah. So the thing is, as you mentioned, there's so much stuff out there. And the thing is, with so much information out there, you want to be able to retain and also pick the certain things that you need at the right moments quickly. Yeah. So one thing I've also I talked to my clients about is that, okay, how do we maximize our ability to absorb information? Now, I'm naturally a very slow reader. It takes me hours and hours, months and months to finish a book. So then, okay, why don't I start listening to audiobooks? Well, if I listen to audiobooks on a normal pace, I might be able to finish that book instead of 20 hours down to 9 hours. But why don't I start increasing the speed at which it plays to me? 2 times the speed, 3 times the speed. Now, if I do that and look at the book at the same time, I'm affecting my hearing and my reading skills at the same time. I find that I'm able to finish the books in 2-3 hours, but also am able to retain more of that information than I would have just reading it. Mm-hmm. So then after that, you start telling people what you've listened to or read. And then all of a sudden, because you're training your brain to listen to things faster, you're also able to pick things out faster when you're out and about. When you're listening to other people speak, you go, oh, that's important. I'll remember that. And you store it in a way where you remember to take it out next time that you need it. So by doing that, you reduce the time that you need to absorb information. And by training yourself that way, you can really impact more people because you have access to more information. So lots of people go, well, how do you do that? Well, start at 3 times the speed, listen to that for 2 minutes, and then reduce it down to 2 times the speed. And all of a sudden, hey, 2 times the speed is easy. After a while, you realize that you have it preset on your Spotify, your podcast, your YouTube, whatever, at 2 times the speed. So you're realizing, hey, you're increasing your power right away.
Yeah, I like the reinforcement, reading the book and simultaneously listening to it at the same time, because it's like you're coming from both ends in regards to the knowledge and the content, which is fantastic. Fong, this has been a fantastic interview. I really appreciate you. Anything else that you want to add before I jump into the rapid section of the interview today?
I just want to say this has been a lot of fun, and you've helped a lot of people with this podcast. And I find that it's very, very valuable for people to listen to. One thing I would like to say is if there's anybody out there who is struggling, who is wanting to know more answers, the thing is, go out and ask. There's always somebody out there who's able to help. Just reach out and ask.
100%. I love that. Thank you, Fong. Okay, power section of the interview. I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions, typically the same for all of our guests. If you were to leave the world with one final message, we call it our golden nugget. What would be your final golden nugget to the world, Fong?
I think I just gave it.
I know.
Just that, right? Everything that you've always wanted to do and always wanted to achieve, somebody out there has already done it in some version or another. Ask them how they were able to succeed. What did they do that made them fail, and learn from it. There's always somebody you can ask.
Absolutely. Next question is, we're very big on values here at Rise Up For You. It's really our compass of the decisions that we make and how we show up in the world. What's one value for you that's an absolute non-negotiable?
I think that as long as I'm able to add some positivity to a person's life, whether it's their day-to-day, their business, their mindset, their growth, then that's value. And as long as you increase your valuability, then you're able to add value to other people.
Yeah, I love that. One more question for you, Fong. But before I ask, how do we find you? Where can we connect with you? If the audience members, especially those that are in the Canadian region, want to connect with you, what's the best place?
Well, on YouTube, you can find me on Your Area TV. You can find my podcast on Spotify and all those other podcast platforms. It's the Peak Potential Success Show. And you can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn under my name.
Awesome. Fantastic. Final question for you, Fong. As you know, we are Rise Up For You. What comes to mind for you when you hear that phrase?
I see a mountain that I need to climb.
Awesome. Like the book behind me.
Exactly. And there's always more mountains out there. So after you do one, you have to do the next one and the next one and the next one. So always something to achieve for.
Awesome. Fong, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for adding value to our community. And thank you to everyone that is listening to this podcast or watching us on YouTube, wherever you're finding this information. We love you. We are grateful for you to have you here in our community. Every single week, I bring amazing thought leaders, executives, entrepreneurs, people from around the world, because we are a global community that are bringing content and strategies to you to help you be your best, and show up in this world, add value to your company, grow your business, really push your potential and your team's potential. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next time. Fong, thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
Awesome.
Imagine a life where you can have it all. A booming career, fantastic love life, great health and success, and overall achievement and happiness. Imagine pushing your potential to your absolute best and every day living a life that you are proud of. Well, if this sounds like something that you're yearning for, then the Rise Up For You Growth membership is perfect for you. My team and I believe in supporting you and helping you get to the next level, because we know that you can do and have what it takes to be your best. When you join our membership, you get access to live trainings every single month with myself and our team. You get free coaching. You get a number of on-demand resources to help level up your success that you can use in the comfort of your own home. And you get access to our global membership around the world, full of like-minded professionals that are looking to be their best. Your time is now to push your potential and live the life that you want to live. So if you're ready to take the next step in your life and in your career, join the Rise Up For You Growth membership. Click below and we'll see you there.